Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I am so friggin' tired by having to listen to Democrats lecture me about the danger of misinformation, when time and time again, they prove themselves to be the kings and queens, the greatest, the biggest purveyors of misinformation. We have the proof, we have the receipts, we know exactly what happened, we know who was involved, based on legitimate, undeniable, irrefutable insider information and documents, emails, and access to data. Yet Karine Jean-Pierre, the Biden administration, and the rest of these Democrat hacks continue to look at us with a straight face and lie. So let's have that conversation. Let's talk about misinformation. Let's see what some of these hacks are saying, and then let's talk about the facts. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so Joe Biden's propaganda minister, the face of Democrat propaganda, Karine Jean-Pierre, does it again. She is very quickly becoming one of the most dishonest people in American history, although it's not exactly surprising considering what her job is.
Twitter, Elon Musk this week fired the former FBI General Counsel Jim Baker, who was serving as a top Twitter lawyer. Musk alleges that he may have been involved with countermanding his attempts at transparency. And I was wondering if anyone in the Biden administration was in touch with Baker, either regarding moderation decisions that critics call political censorship or regarding his transparency efforts recently.
So it's up to private companies to make these types of decisions. We were not involved. I can say that. We were not involved.
Karine Jean-Pierre denies the Biden administration has been involved in Twitter's efforts to censor conservative voices. Karine Jean-Pierre on the record states, "We were not involved." Well then explain this, Karine Jean-Pierre. An email to Twitter on Saturday the 24th of October 2020. More to review from the Biden team. She is a liar. Point blank, finished, an absolute liar. In fact, she's such a liar that we don't even need internal Twitter documents to prove it. All we really need is her predecessor, Jen Psaki. Last week, Karine Jean-Pierre denied that the Biden administration was involved in Twitter's efforts to censor conservative voices. However, in July 2021, Jen Psaki said that the Biden administration was, quote, flagging problematic posts for social media companies to censor.
Jen, can you talk a little bit more about this request for tech companies to be more aggressive in policing misinformation? Has the administration been in touch with any of these companies, and are there any actions that the federal government can take to ensure their cooperation? Because we've seen from the start there's not a lot of action on some of these platforms.
Sure. Well, first, we are in regular touch with these social media platforms, and those engagements typically happen through members of our senior staff, but also members of our COVID-19 team. Given, as Dr. Murthy conveyed, this is a big issue of misinformation, specifically on the pandemic. In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation.
But let's continue to talk about disinformation. Democrats seem to care so much about disinformation to the extent that they're willing to use federal influence and power to violate Americans' First Amendment rights in the name of combating misinformation, yet they straight up misinform you when questioned on the facts of what they're doing. Here's another Biden administration hack, John Kirby.
But it appears from these revelations from inside of Twitter, there were regular meetings between executives there, the FBI, DHS, the DNI. Flagging tweets, expressing their concerns, it seems trying to drive certain conversations. So should or shouldn't the federal government, federal agencies, in your words, be directing private companies on how to execute their initiatives?
We aren't directing private social media companies on how to manage their content. That's not a good use of the information environment for the American people. But it's up to these social media companies to determine how they're going to manage their content, how they are going to deliver that content to their users.
John Kirby vehemently denies the Biden administration and or federal agencies working with social media companies to censor content. Really? You're really going to take that stance? Well then, what exactly is this? Yoel Roth has checked in. Here's what they said. What's new for you since our last check-in? Hacked materials exploded. We blocked the New York Post story, then we unblocked it, but said the opposite. Then said we unblocked it, and now we're in a messy situation where our policy is in shambles, comms is angry, reporters think we're idiots, and we're refactoring an exceedingly complex policy 18 days out from the election. In short, F my life. Weekly sync with FBI, DHS, and DNI on election security. The meeting happened about 15 minutes after the aforementioned hacked materials implosion. The government declined to share anything useful when asked. Monthly meeting. This is irrefutable, undeniable proof on top of all the other proof that we've gone over so far, suggesting not only that federal agencies were involved or behind some of these censorship decisions, but that the relations between these two organizations were so close that it involved weekly meetings. Another fact check, misinformation. Let's really talk about who are the purveyors of misinformation. I am so sick of this stuff, and we keep seeing these same blue checkmark, blue anon, Democrat hacks going on and on. One of the biggest clowns on the platform, Robert Reich, writes, Elon Musk and his enablers have turned this website into a torrent of ad hominem attacks, lies floated as jokes, and blatant misinformation. This isn't freedom of speech. It's dangerous. First of all, it's literal freedom of speech, not to mention, if we're talking about ad hominem attacks, that's basically the left's entire platform. But then he goes on about misinformation. And of course, misinformation. Adam Schiff writes, when he's not sabotaging safeguards against digital misinformation and hate, or laying off thousands of employees, Elon Musk is running a company that performs cruel and deadly tests on animals. Doesn't sound like a genius to me, not even an unstable one. Safeguards against digital misinformation and hate, Adam Schiff writes. Adam Schiff, not to mention going after Elon Musk for supposedly deadly tests on animals. Excuse me, Adam Schiff, but kind of a hypocrite here considering you're a leader of the party that stands behind and defends Dr. Fauci. But let's talk about safeguards against digital information coming from Adam Schiff. Here's Adam Schiff claiming that under Elon Musk's leadership at Twitter, neo-Nazis, homophobes, racists are flocking to Twitter and spewing hate. It seems as though this statement alone is misinformation. Elon Musk fact checks him with false. Hate speech impressions are actually down by 1/3 for Twitter now versus prior to acquisition. The same people who are going on and on about misinformation are the same ones who are constantly spreading misinformation. Let's really quickly go over Adam Schiff's history of misinformation. Adam Schiff says there's ample evidence of collusion in plain sight. False. Adam Schiff slammed for chalking up disturbing fictional account of Trump-Ukraine phone call to parody. Remember when little Adam Schiff totally misrepresented the content of the phone call between Ukraine President and Donald Trump back in 2019? On the record during an impeachment trial? Do we remember when Adam Schiff may have mischaracterized Parnas evidence? Do we remember when Adam Schiff purposely and dishonestly edited and misrepresented Donald Trump's tweets during the January 6th commission? Or the fact that recently an IG report confirms that Adam Schiff's FISA memo, which was praised by the media, was riddled with lies? Remember when Adam Schiff said there was circumstantial evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia? Remember when Adam Schiff met with a whistleblower during the early days of the Russia collusion hoax? And then that whistleblower came out and said that he never met or talked with Adam Schiff? Or probably the biggest misinformation of all, Adam Schiff recently saying this:
I think the Biden administration has done a remarkable job.
So please, Democrats, let's have a conversation about misinformation. I've presented you the receipts. One of the biggest names in the Democrat Party, Mr. Adam Schiff, who's constantly going on about misinformation, well, that's his history, his track record of promoting and pushing deeply troubling and dangerous misinformation. And of course, even the White House that claims to be combating misinformation, well, it seems as though they're combating supposed misinformation with misinformation. I'm just so sick of the lies. I know politics is a cynical game, but man, these people are more relentless in their dishonesty than ever before. It seems as though they just don't care anymore and they're willing to say anything and everything as long as it benefits them or allows them to avoid accountability. It's the same cliche, the same stereotype. It's nothing but projection. The loudest people in the room who are warning us about misinformation and the dangers of misinformation are the most dangerous purveyors of misinformation. I don't know how many times I've said that word in this video. It's a whole lot. And I know we've made similar videos before, but of course the phenomenon continues. And I just wanted to quantify it all, put it all together, focus on the evidence and focus on the facts. Because all these Democrats ever do is make accusations and point their fingers, but they never seem to have the receipts. Well, very simply, very obviously, as you can see, we do. And the end conclusion is that these people are dirty liars. And that's a fact check true. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.